Ever since their introduction in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, assist trophies have always been a fun part of the Smash Bros. Experience. These items help to assist you in battle if you're able to get to them first, and they allow you to experience a video game character in Smash without them actually being playable in the roster. It basically allows for more characters that fans like to be represented in the game. Now, some of these assist trophies obviously wouldn't work as playable fighters in the game. I'll use the Moon from Majora's Mask, which was added as a new one into Smash Ultimate, as an example of this. The Moon can home in from above in Smash Ultimate just like it does in Majora's Mask, and that aspect wouldn't work very well as a playable fighter. But on the other hand, there are many assist trophies that are currently included in the game that many fans feel could work very well as playable characters in Smash. Today I'll be going over 10 examples of this, 10 characters who are currently included as assist trophies in Smash Ultimate that I think could definitely have some good moveset potential, and I'll be providing some ideas for that in this video. As an added bonus, I'll also be tacking on a Pokeball into this video, so we're going to be going over 11 characters in total. I'm also going to be limiting this list to one character per franchise, just to add some variety to it so I'm not talking about the same series over and over. And with that all being said, let's get started. The first character that I wanted to talk about today is Springman. Now, when the Nintendo Switch first launched in March of 2017, we were aware of many of the games that would be coming out throughout the year. And one of those games was ARMS, a brand new IP from Nintendo. Nintendo was pushing this game pretty hard. It had its own direct and it was showcased a lot in the very first Nintendo Switch presentation back in January. And while it sold decently, garnering over 1 million units, it likely didn't reach the big potential that Nintendo was hoping for it with this big marketing campaign. It didn't sell nearly as well as a new series that was introduced during the Wii U era, being Splatoon for example, which is now one of Nintendo's biggest series. Springman is the poster boy, the face of the franchise for ARMS, and prior to the release of the game, when many people thought that it was going to do a lot better sales-wise, people thought that Springman was definitely going to be included in a Super Smash Bros. Game in the future. Now, many of those people didn't expect a Smash Bros. Game to be released the very next year, which Smash Ultimate was, and because of that, due to time constraints, it likely wasn't that feasible to include an ARMS character in the game anyway, but it also doesn't help that the game didn't blow up sales-wise. Nevertheless, I do think Springman could definitely provide a very unique aspect to the Smash Bros. Experience. With the ability to extend arms, which is the main component of the ARMS gameplay, as well as the ability to customize your fists, which are known as arms, there could be some very interesting possibilities here. The next character I wanted to talk about is Shadow from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. This is a character that I talk about pretty frequently on the channel as an idea for a new Smash rep. And to be completely honest, why wouldn't Shadow work very well in Smash Bros? He's an iconic character from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. He's a villain from the series as well, which would be a nice contrast to Sonic, and he could also just be Sonic's Echo Fighter. And while there are definitely some unique components to Shadow the Hedgehog, and there's some weapons that he uses in his own game and whatnot that could provide more unique aspects to his moveset, I definitely think the Echo Fighter treatment would be much better and much easier for Nintendo to do. Why waste more time and development resources crafting a full moveset for Shadow when a similar effect could just be pulled off by making him an Echo Fighter? Use those development resources to make a more full-fledged moveset for a character that deserves one. And with all these other third-party series receiving new representatives for their fighters, like Castlevania and Street Fighter, why doesn't the Sonic the Hedgehog series get a second representative here? There's a lot of debate in the Smash community about what the second Sonic rep should be. Some think it should be Tails, some think it should be Eggman, some think Knuckles would be a good idea. I'm definitely one of those people, but Shadow I think would be the best and simplest choice to incorporate in the game. The next character I want to talk about is Shovel Knight. Prior to the announcement of Smash Ultimate, Shovel Knight was very highly requested to be a new character in a future Smash game. Even during the era of Smash 4 DLC, Shovel Knight was still highly requested, mostly because his games were gaining a lot of popularity during that point in time. And you know what? Why wouldn't Shovel Knight work very well in Smash Bros? He uses a shovel as a main component of his moveset. A spike is almost already built into his moveset because the shovel spikes downwards when you jump. Then there's still a lot of fan love surrounding Shovel Knight as the series continues to grow. The character already has an amiibo, and there's many others from characters in his series. I think the fact that Nintendo included Shovel Knight as an assist trophy in Smash Ultimate alone is just incredible, but in a playable form, that would just be over the top. The next character I want to talk about is Lyn from the Fire Emblem series. I know when I talk about new Fire Emblem characters for Smash Ultimate, a lot of people get fired up because they don't think that it's a good idea to have many new Fire Emblem characters included in the roster. Personally, I think that's a pretty bad take to have, because while you may not be as into the series or anything like that, I don't think you should hate on the series just for it being a series that you're not as familiar with. However, an argument I can agree with is that a lot of the Fire Emblem characters have very similar movesets, and we shouldn't really have another direct sword user that's going to operate in the exact same way as Marth, Lucina, Roy, or Chrom included in the roster. We've had enough of those characters, and I think Lynn's pretty unique in that regard. She could use her blades as unique weapons for the game, and she's a pretty popular character with hardcore Fire Emblem fans. It would be a nice retro representative for the series. And a retro Fire Emblem representative isn't really something that we've gotten, considering that every new Fire Emblem addition to Super Smash Bros. Has really just been from the latest game that's come out, or a very recent title. I get that's mainly to increase the popularity of the series, but I think it would be a nice callback to older Fire Emblem fans to see this character included in a playable role. The next character I want to talk about is Skull Kid from the Legend of Zelda series. I talked about this character in a previous video that I made about 10 characters who are eventually going to be playable in Super Smash Bros. Because I adamantly believe that. While he's obviously not going to be included in Smash Ultimate as a playable fighter because he's currently an assist trophy in the game, I undoubtedly think he could work very well in that role. You could even see in Hyrule Warriors, which is available on Switch now in the Definitive Edition, that Skull Kid could use Tattle and Tail as his fairies and create some very interesting attacks with them. The moveset is almost right there in Hyrule Warriors that you could just rip from and put in Smash Ultimate. Obviously things don't work that way, but what I'm getting at here is that there's many possibilities for Skull Kid's attacks. Not only is Skull Kid himself a great idea for the moveset and whatnot, but it also would be a great need for the Legend of Zelda series to have in the roster of Smash. 3 Links, Ganondorf, Zelda, and Sheik, that's it. That's the Zelda characters in the game. For Nintendo's 3rd biggest ongoing series, I definitely think it deserves more. And while we have a Zelda villain in there already being Ganon, I definitely think we could use another one that would have a unique moveset, and Skull Kid definitely fits that role very well. The next character I want to talk about is Waluigi from the Mario series. Another character that I've mentioned a lot in the past, Waluigi is a highly requested character to be included in Smash, mostly because of his meme potential and how he's always left out. He's sort of like an underdog, you know? But what I really wanted to mention him in this video for is the insane moveset potential. Waluigi mainly features in the Mario sports games, and he's had prominent roles in some of them, but in most of them he's just another character that you could pick. But because of these prevalent appearances in the sports titles, I think sports could definitely be a very interesting component of his moveset. Allow him to use a soccer ball, swing a tennis racket, a golf club, whatever you want. Incorporate the sports into his moveset, and it'd be a very interesting callback to all of the Mario sports series that exist out there. And from Nintendo's perspective, it almost serves as a self-promoting tool for any Mario sports games that are going to be on the Switch. I have made a full video in the past that I'm going to link to on the screen right now about how a complete Waluigi moveset could work in Smash, and I highly recommend you check it out if you're interested. The next character that I want to talk about is Takamaru from the mysterious Murazami Castle. And for those of you who just went, what, who is that now? Takamaru is sort of a retro fighter that many people, including myself, were requesting as an idea for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, I myself am relatively unfamiliar about the mysterious Murazami Castle. It's an old NES game. However, after looking at gameplay and researching the character and finding out more information about it, I found out that Takamaru could be a very interesting fighter. He could be a quick, fast ninja with his blades, cutting around characters, and I know some people would think, oh, he's just another swordsman, but he has the potential to be a very unique one in that role, and just because a character has a sword doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. Takamaru keeps appearing as an assist trophy in Super Smash Bros. Games, and I definitely think that's because Nintendo wants people to start recognizing this character. Sakurai and the team in Smash Bros. Love doing their retro characters and their callbacks, and Takamaru could definitely be an interesting one. The next character I want to go over is Isaac from Golden Sun. Golden Sun is an RPG series that hasn't had too many titles released in recent years, with the most recent one I believe coming out in 2010. But if you've played any of the Golden Sun games, you'll realize that the combat system is pretty interesting, and there are many moves that could be used from Isaac's perspective in a Smash moveset. Many people were really upset when Nintendo showcased him prior to the release of Smash Ultimate in a compilation with a bunch of different assist trophies, because they thought that this was going to be the time for Isaac. They thought that he was included as an assist trophy in Brawl, cut for the assist trophy role in Smash 4, and then maybe now he would be upgraded to playable status, but no, he's included as an assist trophy again. I mean, I suppose it's better than being cut again like he was in Smash 4 and not included in the game at all, because that would really show Nintendo would think of this series as completely dead. But I believe that because of the many unique attacks he uses within the Golden Sun series, Isaac can make for a great character in the game. The next character I want to go over is Crystal from the Star Fox series. Crystal is another one of those characters who's from the Star Fox series that many fans throw around and say, hey, would she work in the roster? And I definitely think she would. I don't think she's at the iconic level as many Star Fox fans believe she is, because if you go to a casual Smash fan and say, do you know who this is? They may only know her from the role as an assist trophy in the game and not know anything else about her. I mean, the same would go for a character like Takamaru, who I was just talking about before, but the difference from Crystal is she comes from a prominent Nintendo series that already has 3 characters in it. Considering the diminishing sales of newer Star Fox games, I don't think Nintendo is going to be as willing to include new Star Fox characters unless they plan on heavily promoting the brand with new titles in the future. And calling back to a retro Star Fox character, who knows if they'd really want to do that. But I do think there is a possibility, and if she is included, she could have a very interesting moveset. If you look at gameplay of Star Fox Adventures, you could definitely notice how Crystal would work, and one of the main reasons why I think she would be a good Star Fox rep is because this moveset that would be created around her would be a lot different from the 3 Star Fox characters currently in Smash, because she uses different attacks in Star Fox Adventures. And by differentiating from 3 characters who are all very similar in their movesets, would definitely be a good thing. The final assist trophy that I'm going over in this video is Bomberman. Bomberman is from, well, the Bomberman series, and there was a new title in the series put on the Nintendo Switch in 2017 at launch, being Super Bomberman R. It's showing that Nintendo and Konami are still pretty close when it comes to putting Bomberman games on their consoles, and he does have a large history with Nintendo. He was another character prior to the release of Smash Ultimate that I was thinking, man, he could definitely work. I think this is definitely his time to be included in a playable role. He has a good history with Nintendo. A lot of people know who he is. But that didn't end up happening. Bomberman could throw and plant bombs everywhere, and while there are bombs used by many characters in Smash Ultimate, Bomberman would have that as the main focus of his set. There are obviously other attacks that he could use, but bombs would have to be the main weapon here. If Bomberman's included, I definitely think there would be a lot of excited Nintendo fans out there, and I would be excited too. I've played some Bomberman games in the past, I've had a fun time with them, and it'd be nice to see the mascot of that series represented in a full playable role. The final character that I'm going over in this video is the bonus Pokeball Pokemon that I said I was going to be going over at the start of it. There are many Pokeball Pokemon that have been included in the Smash series over the years, but for one that I think would work really well seamlessly in a playable role, I decided to go with Siiroth. Maybe not the first pick that you'd think of, but Siiroth to me would work very well in a playable role in the game. It has a fairly unique typing by Smash standards. I get that Steel is already used by Lucario, but Lucario doesn't embrace the Steel typing nearly as much as Siiroth does. And the bug typing is also a unique one for Smash. In terms of his moveset and how you would play, I think he could end up having some pretty fast attacks using Bullet Punch and whatnot, but would mainly focus his role as being a slow and heavy fighter. He's covered in steel after all. I don't think it would make that much sense for him to be the speediest thing out there. They could probably incorporate his Mega Evolution as a final Smash, but considering that Megas are being removed from Pokemon Sword and Shield, maybe it wouldn't be the best idea to include a Mega in a brand new character being introduced in the game. Now, all of these characters are probably not going to be included in Smash Ultimate because they're already incorporated in a role like this, but in a Smash game in the future, I definitely think it would be nice to see any of these characters in the game. Let me know what characters who are assist trophies or Pokeballs right now in Smash Ultimate that you think could work very well in Smash in the future. If you're interested in finding out the significance of Sand's inclusion in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you can check out a previous video that I have about that, and there's other Nintendo content linked for you on the screen as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.